Everybody. Hello. Yes, these are extras. If you did not get one of these, OMG, if you did not get one of these and would like one, let me know and one of us can run you one. We have a couple of extras. But we're going to get started. You can put our slides up there, Mom. Oh, my mother's requesting that we pray.
Mine's on now.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to pray to open us, and then we will get started. Dear Lord, I just thank you so much for allowing us to gather here and for us to have the space to talk about these things, about different communities that we can reach potentially through education and learning about one another. Lord, I just thank you for the resources that you've given our church through people like Baily that are going through school to learn about different people and help us to learn how we can minister to and with them in the future. Lord, I thank you for everybody that is taking the time to be here and learn about this, and hopefully we can have some fun. And I just pray that you bless this and bless our minds and our hearts to be willing and able to accept this information, Lord. Thank you for everything you've given us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Okay, so you're hearing a lot from me right now, but you really won't. This whole thing. This is kind of something that Baily and I talked about doing right around the time of whenever I did my in-service, because I was like, Baily, you are like a freaking resource, because she is in school, initially started out to do ASL interpreting, and then now she's going kind of the deaf education route, but that is like an entire population that is niche that we can reach as a church, and if we have education, then the more suited we are to be able to feel like that we can share the gospel with these people. So anyways, this is our ASL in-service. Welcome, and thank you for being here. So our goal today is to share some helpful knowledge and tips with you about the deaf community and about interpreting, and also just like people that use sign language. You do not have to be deaf to use sign language. And so kind of talking about that as we have, someone in our church, we have Grayson that uses signs to supplement his verbal language. So that was also the inspiration behind this, is being able to break down that barrier of communication, because if we know more signs, then maybe we can, communicate more effectively with him and with others in the future. So as we're talking about this, it is okay to feel confused and intimidated because this is new, and the deaf culture, and Baily's going to talk about this way more thoroughly than I ever could. The deaf culture is very complicated, and it's niche, and you don't really know about it unless you seek opportunities to learn about it if you're not in it. So that's kind of what we're trying to provide today, and education is power. And so we're just going to give you guys little droplets of what is all out there. And like when we were planning this, Baily was like, I don't even know where to start. And I'm like, well, we'll just do the basics or what you think are the basics since you're the expert, and we'll just see. So we're going to talk about information on the deaf community and other information surrounding it. We're going to discuss some basic signs, as you can see in your packet, and then also some signs on that very last page. You'll see all of the signs that are after those first couple pages that we'll talk about. Don't feel like you have to have these memorized. It's totally fine. This is just giving you opportunities to learn and recognize them, and we'll give you resources on videos. Me and Baily were literally taking the videos of the signs before this, and I'm going to upload those to a Google Drive and send a link to everybody so they can look at those as they would like. And then we're also going to, as you can see in your packet, discuss signs that Grayson uses. Like I said, Grayson supplements his verbal language with sign language at times, and I think it's important for us to know these signs or just be familiar with them. And if you don't know them 100% after today, that is totally fine, because I don't even know them 100%. But because this is an ever-growing thing, he might learn more tomorrow. We don't know. But this is just a stepping stone for us, and it allows us to show that we care and that we are wanting to have more. I don't know what's going on back there. My mother's laughing at something, so she's distracting me. But allows us to communicate with him more thoroughly. So anyways, Baily's going to take it away.
Okay, So, excuse me if I'm a little nervous. I'm not one to get up here, as you all know. It makes me a little uncomfortable. So, a little about me and how I got into this. I started at UALR in Little Rock in 2021, planning to go into the sign language interpreting program, and I've been doing that, 2021, 22, 23, I graduated with my associate's degree in deaf studies, and then did it pretty much all last semester, and then last spring I took a little bit of a break to kind of work on my skills and get some experience at the deaf school in Little Rock. So I was there, 2 to 3 days a week, all last semester, working in the classroom with the kids and learning more signs, and literally right into week 1, I just fell in love with it and decided that that's where I wanted to end up. And so I kind of switched my degree around a little bit, and I'm no longer in the interpreting program, but I'm still learning the language, and I decided I wanted to teach at the deaf school, so I want to teach deaf students. So that's kind of where I'm at now, and I'm still learning. I don't know everything. The plan is to get fluent eventually, but I've been doing it for several years now, so I know a little bit, but anyways. So I kind of wanted to start with some questions to consider just to see where everyone's knowledge is to start off with, and then after we're done we can kind of reflect on what we learned and see if maybe these answers we have now will change by the time that we're done, and you'll have a better idea of what you would do if you ran into a deaf person. So anyway, and y'all can answer these out loud or think to yourself, or I might call on you if you're willing to share. But anyways, so my first question was, how many of you have ever interacted with a deaf person or someone who communicates through sign language thus far in your life? So a few of us. Okay. So one that I would like to hear back from, if anyone's willing to share their answer, if you bumped into someone who was deaf one day at the grocery store, how would you initially think to communicate with them?
I would apologize for bumping into them.
Good answer.
Perfect. Anybody else?
You definitely don't want to yell. It's not going to help.
Yes. That was a thought.
So true.
Yes. I'm glad you said that.
A handful of folks that I run across, they know how to write, so whenever I run
Yes.
across someone, I'll basically grab a pen and paper and just start writing.
Okay.
And then they'll write down their responses and we go back and forth that way.
Okay.
It takes longer, but it does work.
Yes, it does. Amy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Typing into your notes app is another, and writing.
There was an individual during the time, I can't remember his name, but he was real athletic. He was deaf. It seemed like when you saw him in the grocery store, he understood a smile or a wave,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Just that kind of broke the ice, and then you could kind of do some minute communication with him.
Yeah.
That's great.
You'd be surprised. They could actually read some lips.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a plus if you're communicating with somebody that's not.
Yes, and in my experience at the deaf school, there is all kinds of things going on. Some of the kids barely know signs. And I was with second grade, so they were little, and I knew more than they did at that point, just because they were, still learning to communicate and everything. But a lot of deaf people know really, really well how to read lips, and so that's extremely helpful. A lot of them, read lips and signs. Some of them speak. It just depends on who it is, but those are all great answers. But anyways.
I think that something I want to say really quickly is the reading lips part. We have a huge role to play in that and to facilitate that communication, because it's really important for us to enunciate and to make sure that we're not mumbling. And sometimes, and I think that sometimes this happens with teenagers, kids, whenever they're a little bit uncomfortable, they'll cover their mouths whenever they're talking, or they're sitting and they're talking like this, and you don't even realize it. but that is a barrier to communication because you don't, even people who are hard of hearing, reading lips helps. I feel like I even read lips sometimes and I'm not hard of hearing. So it's harder to understand that communication when you're taking away the visual aspect of it. So.
Yes. And then my last question was, when you initially hear of an interpreter, what do you think that is? Anybody?
Somebody that helps you communicate with someone else,
Yes.
whether it be another language or sign or there's 1,000 different things.
Yes. Anybody else? Okay.
Interpreter is somebody in between, like a mediator, and they're letting one person is speaking in some way that the other person doesn't understand. The interpreter is telling them what, and then it's a back and forth thing.
Yes. And believe it or not, I actually didn't realize this until I got a little bit further into the program. But there is a difference between an interpreter and a translator, which if you really think about it, you're like, whoa, what's the difference? But I have a slide later on that talks about it a little bit, so we'll get to that. Also, you don't need your packets right now, so don't feel like you've got to look at them, but we'll get into that when we're done. I should have said that. Okay, so I want to start off just a little bit with just some good things to know about the deaf community, just never hurts to have a little bit of extra information and understand. So you'll notice that some people choose to talk with little signing while others only sign. This depends on how much they can hear, but this also shows the person's culture. So this little graph up here kind of explains it. Sorry if you can't see it super well, it's a little bit small, but I'll read it. So in the deaf community, they kind of explain depending on where you are on the scale of deafness, I guess, or how you grew up or how much you can hear if you're hard of hearing or if you use sign or if you don't or whatever. Like I said, there's a lot of different aspects to it. But they use this thing called big D deaf and little d deaf. And so big D deaf is people using sign language as their primary way of communication. They are very immersed in their culture, and they may have deaf family members and friends as well. And then little d deaf is people who choose to follow along more with the hearing community. They choose to perceive deafness as an impairment. These people may not have any other family or friends who are like them, so all they know is the hearing culture. And big D deaf makes me think of someone who grew up completely in a deaf family, or they went to a deaf school and they were just around it a lot. And then little d deaf is they might have grown up in a family where no one else was deaf, they were the only one. Their family didn't learn to sign. They went to a completely hearing school, so they were kind of forced to be more in the hearing culture than the deaf culture. So, and you'll see both.
I feel also going on with cochlear implants. I don't know if you're familiar with cochlear implants. We're actually about to talk about that, so I'm probably getting ahead of myself. But sometimes, and this is sometimes, I'm not going to speak for all the time in Baily. You can, if you're wrong, tell me you're wrong. But I feel people that are big D deaf, that are very immersed in the culture, a lot of times they are sometimes against cochlear implants because you're essentially seeing being deaf as something that needs to be fixed. Whereas big D deaf, they don't see that as needing to be fixed. It's part of their identity. Mm-hmm. Being deaf is just as much of a part of them as being hearing is part of me. And so that's kind of something to think about between big D and little d deaf. And not that it really, really matters for in interacting with someone that is big D or little d deaf, but it's something just to think about and to consider.
It's just a cool fact to know personally.
Well, because we always think about this is just me, but we think about disability as something that needs to be fixed, and deafness is considered a disability by the CDC, but it's one of those things a lot of times cochlear implants and other hearing aids, things like that, they're not always what people want. Some deaf people just don't want to be in the hearing world. So. Mm-hmm. thought you said even. Amen. Yeah, true. So
Okay.
true. I didn't hear you.
Does anybody have any questions? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. So again, sorry if you can't read this. I actually made this presentation for my class last semester, and we kind of like took out and put in a few things, but it worked really well for this. So anyways, so has anyone ever heard of a name sign before? It's like really, really important in the deaf community. Okay. So I have a name sign. I will show you guys in a second. But so I'll read about this really quick. Have you ever thought about how exhausting it would be to have a conversation in ASL, but every time you need to refer to someone, you have to spell out their name? Well, guess what? No need for that in the deaf community. The deaf community has a really cool system for this. A name sign can only be given by a deaf individual. This is a sign made up to fit you, your personality, or your looks, but it typically includes the first initial of your name. Deaf people do not just give these lightly. You have to prove yourself and your respect for the deaf community to earn one. Your student might make one for you since you will be an everyday part of their life. That was part of my presentation I put in there. Anyway, so the sign name I got, it actually took me, I think like a year and a half to earn it, because I'm a little timid. I didn't really like going out in the deaf community. It really scared me because I didn't want to mess up or like make someone mad. And then I started going out and meeting people and learning, and then I eventually got one. I actually got my name sign from a deaf blind man, which was really cool. And my name sign, it starts with the letter B, and it goes like this. So it's kind of like for my hair, like this. So anyway, that's what I'm referred to as.
Which is so interesting because he was blind. So you did tell him that you
Yeah.
had long hair.
Yes, he asked if I had longer hair, and I said yes, and
Yeah.
then he gave me that. So
Yeah.
anyway,
So
kinda cool.
interesting.
And then cochlear implant, like we kind of just talked about. This is a surgically implanted electronic device that helps people with severe to profound hearing loss. Cochlear implants are designed to bypass damaged portions of the ear and directly stimulate the auditory part of the ear. On the outside, it looks like a hearing aid with a wire that runs to the back side of the head. On the end is a small circle device that magnetically connects to the part that is surgically placed under the skin. This way, the cochlear can be removed when needed for comfort. Although a cochlear cannot fully restore hearing by any means, and sometimes, unfortunately, they're of no benefit in certain cases. For some people, they do help to hear faint sounds. So not every deaf person has one of these, like we kind of talked about earlier. Some people are very happy with their deafness and they don't want that to change. And then some people want to give hearing a chance. And just because someone tries to get one doesn't mean that it is always going to work out for them. But so some people have them, some people don't. But anyway, little facts about that. And then what is an educational interpreter? We don't necessarily need to know this, I guess, in church, because I don't really know that we'd have a reason to have one here. But this was another little thing I added for my presentation for class. But an educational interpreter facilitates communication back and forth for a student and a teacher. Their primary setting of work is either a school, college, or university. An interpreter typically sits at the front of the room to be in clear vision of the student. This also helps the student to see the teacher as well. And an educational interpreter can also help with IEP meetings related to their deaf student, along with any other school-related event. So I don't remember who it was that said, I think it was Nancy, that said earlier what she thought an interpreter was. So that was pretty spot on. And if you want to say this
Yes.
one.
So in thinking about things that we can do, not just in the classroom, I know this says small changes in the classroom, but just in general to make language more accessible and to make sign language more accessible, kind of like how I was talking about earlier, like making sure that we are, enunciating our words and that our mouth is clear of anything whenever we are speaking is really important so people can read lips and make it easier, because the last thing we want to do is make these things harder for people who do experience deafness. But if you are in a classroom setting or if you're teaching a class, this goes for participants and teachers, because the teachers shouldn't be the only ones that have to advocate for a good seating arrangement. It helps if we all know. A U shape. Mom, I said mom. Will you do the next slide?
Oh,
I forgot I don't have it. So this is what I'm talking about whenever I say a U shape classroom setup. It allows everybody to see each other better. It's kind of like sitting at a circle table. But if you have one instructor, then that's a really good way for everyone to see each other whenever they're communicating. Because if you think about this setup, like if Miss Fran is talking to me, it's like Miss Austin can't see her speaking in the back. So U-shape is the way to go in a classroom. Obviously, we can't. We could set up the chairs in here in a U shape, but that would be a whole thing. We go back one, please. Okay, so also having good lighting is incredibly important. If you have dim lighting and shadows and all that stuff, and you're not able to see someone signing, or you're not able to see their mouth, or you're not able to see the visuals that you're providing, that goes along with the second point, then you are kind of, there's no reason to even have any of that if you can't see it because of the lighting. And it's also important to have visual supports, having slides, pictures of things, a visual schedule is something I kind of talked about a long time ago with my presentation. That's really important, just to supplement the verbal and the signing that might be happening. It's also important to never assume that the deaf students are good at, or deaf people in general are good at lip reading, and try to use signs when you can if you know that they like to use signs. And it's also important to just talk to kids about different communication styles, just so we are always fostering an inclusive environment, and that multiple modes of communication are accepted and understood by kids as they grow up. And that's not like an easy thing. It's not like kids are going to be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. But the more that we talk about these things, the more accepted they are and the more normalized they will become. So. Okay, we already looked at that.
Okay, so this is kind of the end of this, and then we'll move on to the packet. But I wanted to let you guys know about some apps that could be helpful if you're interested in learning more than what we provide for you. Because I didn't add like a whole lot just because it can get really overwhelming. But these are two apps that I use like all the time. I use one of them about every day. But this one on the left, the ASL Bloom, it is a free app to a certain point. It'll give you a few different lessons, and then if you're interested in learning more, you do have to pay for it. But the hand speak I use like a whole lot for my school stuff, and it's like a dictionary. So if you're ever like, hey, I wonder what this word is, you can go on there and type it in, and it'll give you some different videos to look at. So it's really cool.
And those are like the pictures of what the app will look like when you pull them up. So that's why we have a picture of a dog.
And then this one, I don't know if any of y'all have ever heard of Duolingo. It's pretty popular. But this one is Lingvano, and it is completely sign language. It's not free. I don't think I've ever tried this one just because I have those other two and I had class to learn from. But a lot of like deaf influencers on social media and stuff talk about how great this one is. So I know it's got to be good if they recommend it. So if any of y'all are interested in any of these apps, all of these are great.
So this kind of concludes this portion of our training. You're probably like, wow, 30 minutes in. You're wrong. We have a couple more things to talk about. But now we're going to learn some basic signs. But I do want to show you guys this. It's incredibly not helpful right now because there's nothing in the drive because I couldn't get the videos to upload here. But if you want to scan this QR code, you can, and it will take you to a Google Drive that has no videos in it, but soon it will. But I'm also going to send Austin a link to the Google Drive that can be sent in the prayer chain. And so you can just click on the link, and then it will take you to that Google Drive, and you'll be able to access the videos. I would just send them, but it's like 20 different videos, so it's kind of hard to do that. I guess I could try if you really want me to. So we'll do our best to make those materials accessible. But like I said, it's incredibly not helpful right now because there's nothing in it. So, but you'll have access to it once the videos are uploaded, and they will be soon. So, okay, so now, oh, also, if you want Bailey's information, here it is.
If you have any questions that you cannot find out on your own, you're welcome to contact me. I don't know everything, but I can try.
Yeah, I did not put Shelby's information because Shelby does not know much about sign language. But you know where to find me. So,
Okay. So
take it away.
on to the fun part. So you will need your packet. I'm going to say before we start, I would like to see all of your hands up because that is the best way to learn. So as I am teaching this, I want to see you doing it with me because personally doing it helps me retain it. So I am going to start out with the alphabet. Some of you might know, you can put your hands down. I just want to see it as we're working on it. So I'm going to start with the alphabet and we'll kind of run through it.
You facing us, does it matter right or left hand?
Oh yeah, that's a really great question. So your dominant hand is what you're going to use for the alphabet specifically, and then I'll kind of get into the other stuff later. But we're going to run through the alphabet. There are pictures on your very first page of what these look like if you can't see me very well. But the alphabet is extremely important to know because if you do run into a deaf person, it's kind of helpful to be like, hey, I am really curious how to ask you what this means or like how to do this sign or whatever, and you can spell it out. And then, you know, it's an easier way to communicate if you don't know a whole lot of sign. So anyway, we'll run through this, and then I would really like for everybody to practice their name. And then I'm going to ask some people to sign their name for me. So anyways. Okay.
This is an exciting opportunity, isn't it, everybody? I think we should take advantage of it.
Okay, here we go. I'll go slow. A, B, C,
Is it C like this?
C, yeah, C, D. Can everybody see me? D. Oh, sorry, you can't see me. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I was going to say, if you look at the pictures, it helps a little bit. I should have put something up here so you could see it a little bit better. D, E, F, G. So G is going to be your pointer finger and your thumb out like this.
Oh,
G.
wow.
Oh, I don't like that.
He's quick.
H.
I'm upset.
Does this help? Okay. Huh? Oh, H. Okay.
But this is the way you hold it, Mom.
Yes, this is the way. I'm doing it the way that you would use it when you were, yeah. If you can't tell what I'm doing though, just let me know. I. And then J is literally just what a J looks like. J. Yes. J. J. Yes. J. And then K is a little confusing. K, so you've got your pointer finger up, your middle finger is going out this direction, and then your thumb is kind of in the middle. Can everybody see that okay? Your picture.
It's like peace sign, middle finger down, thumb in between.
If you really look at your picture, you can see it a little bit better. Yes, Micah's doing it correctly. Yes.
Yes.
K. Okay, so remember what K looks like, because there's another one that's similar. K. L. Exactly what an L looks like. M is going to have the 3 humps, so I like to think of this one as like an M, you know, has got more humps than an N does. So the M is going to be your pointer finger, middle finger, and ring finger over your thumb. Everybody see that okay?
All the way down like this.
I like to hold it like this, but yes, that's what it looks like. And then M, you're going to take away your ring finger and do the exact same thing.
For N. Okay.
N.
Over the thumb, right?
Yes. O, just like an O. And then if you remember what your P looks like,
Or
you're going to
K.
do the exact, or sorry, your K. Then you're going to do the exact same thing and you're going to point your wrist down. So that's a P. Does that make sense
Also-
to everybody? Sorry, I know my hands are really small and you can't see them very well.
If
up
you
here.
if you don't get this all today, it's totally okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
No
That's
stress.
why I gave you a picture of what it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Q is going to be like your G, and you're going to go down. So you've got your pointer finger and your thumb going down. So that's Q, but you would hold it like this. So Q. R, your middle finger and your pointer finger are crossed. Have your middle finger in the back. Yes, that's correct. Yes. R, S, your thumb in front of all of your other fingers. S. And then T, you're going to put your thumb in between your pointer finger and your middle finger.
You've got someone's nose.
And this is also toilet. This is bathroom, if anybody was curious. This is bathroom. If you shake your T, yes, because that's toilet, T. Yeah.
Shake your
T. U is going to be your pointer and your middle finger up, and it's kind of like a U, you know, U. V, just like a V. W, next finger out.
Ah, easy.
X, you're going to have your index finger like bent like that.
It's like a pirate hook.
X, Y, and then Z, you're just going to draw it with your pointer finger. I know that was a lot.
It's okay.
Anyway, does anybody have any questions about any of those? It's okay.
Well,
You just do the best you can.
you get better at it the more you practice. So
Yeah.
I expect you to be signing your name every morning to Granny. So, hey, and you have a double letter in your name. How do you do double letters?
So it depends on the double letter. So like for an L, you're gonna slide.
For like R, for like Perry.
R, you're gonna slide.
So,
Some of them you bounce, some of them you just slide. It depends on the letters. What is it? S. I think you bounce for S. S. So like you're literally gonna like, you see my hand?
oh,
Like S,
because it's like you're doing it twice.
S, yeah. S. K, slide. N, slide. Don't ask me why. I didn't make the rules, unfortunately. Would anybody like to stand up and do their name for me?
Or come up.
I know TJ can.
Oh, Amy's.
Amy. Yeah.
Yay.
TJ. No, I want you to stand up.
Show the
Thank you.
crowd. T.J.
Perfect.
I can do mine. I can do mine since it's
She
longer.
can. Let's see it.
S. No, I'm nervous.
No, don't be nervous.
Ah! Okay. S H E
Uh-huh.
L B Y.
Yes.
Yay!
Mom, I know you can do yours. I want to see it. Perfect.
And she didn't even my name is.
She did. I'll get to that next. And I will say, all of you were capable of learning this because my mom's children in second grade learned it.
Yeah.
So you can do it too.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Yeah. Hey, and I will not be here on Sunday, so you have a break on Sunday, but that just means you have extra time to learn. But next Sunday, I will come up and ask you guys how to sign your name. So I hope you're
Be
practicing.
scared.
Okay.
Just kidding.
So next.
Oh my God.
Well, I'm here a lot,
Avoid Baily.
so
She can come knock on your door
I
too.
know where you live. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So
But we can remind you. So
yes,
don't
we'll
worry.
remind you. Okay. So if you want to flip to the next page,
It should
we're
say
going
day
to
3.
talk about. Yeah, sorry, we printed these out from a book, and so these were just kind of some random pages. Also, I'm not going to talk about what the page says, but if you're interested, it kind of gives you like a bit of an explanation as to like why it is the way it is, what, I don't know, just kind of explains it a little bit, which is kind of cool. But so this is going to explain to you how to introduce yourself in sign language. So this is where the finger spelling comes in handy because you're going to have to finger spell your name. So if you'll look at the pictures on here, it's just two signs. So my. You're going to use an open hand because if you point to yourself, you're saying I. So my. And then is actually not a word in sign language. The phrase, like for this, is just name is. Sign language just doesn't include tiny words. I don't really know why, it just doesn't. So when you're introducing yourself, so I'll do mine, for example, I would say, so that's my name spelled out. My name is, and then you're going to finger spell your name. Yes. So that's how to do that.
Does anybody want to try?
If anybody would like to try, you're welcome to. I'd love to see it. Yes, and then you'll do name is like twice. So name.
Think about you're saying like two words like name is,
Yeah.
if that helps.
As long as everyone's trying, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'll just let you like try for a second. I love the interaction. Yes. What is the? Oh, egg sandwich. Yes.
F, like this.
Yeah, F.
You say you want an egg sandwich?
I think so.
He wants an egg sandwich.
He
Okay.
says yes. Perfect.
Here you go.
Yes, egg.
Oh, so this is
Uh-huh.
egg.
This is egg. Totally unrelated, but yes.
So that's something else we're going to talk about after we go
We're
through
going to
these.
talk about what Grayson knows at the very end because
Yeah, we're going to talk
Grayson
about
knows
Grayson.
a handful of signs and it's super helpful.
Yeah. And he wants to eat egg sandwich. So, and yeah, we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Name is, so my name is, this is egg, but that's unrelated to name.
Yeah, my name is egg sandwich.
Maybe, yeah.
He said, you know what sounds really good right now? An egg sandwich. I don't blame him. That sounds good to me too.
Okay,
You wanna
So
ask if
we'll-
he wants to share?
huh?
Does anyone want to share? Or
Oh,
try?
I mean, does anybody want to share, like, introduce themselves before I go on? You're welcome to if you'd like to.
Oh,
Okay,
Mom, do you want to?
please do.
You just stand.
Yeah, so everyone can see you. Yeah. Yeah. KK.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Love.
Yeah, you're right. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So, if you'd like to go on to the next page. So now that you know how to say hello, my name is, whatever your name is, we're going to go on to hello, nice to meet you. I don't think I taught y'all hello, but it's pretty self-explanatory. You can either say hello or you can like wave. It's both. Hey. So we'll start with hello. Hello, or wave, whatever you'd like to do. Hello. Nice. So I'm trying to think of how to explain this. Your dominant hand is what you're going to use to like lead all of your signs, if that makes sense. So like most of the movement will come from your dominant hand. It's typically going to be like on top or like that's what you're going to move the most. I don't really know if that makes sense, but it'll make sense once you start like using some different things. You'll be like, oh, okay. But anyway, so hello, nice. So you're going to slide your dominant hand over the top. So that's nice. That will actually come up again later for another word too. This is clean. And if you think about nice and clean, they're pretty much the same thing. So nice. And then meet. So think of this as two people. It's not a D. It's just like a holding your index finger out like this.
This is D, and this is people.
Yes, people. So if they're meeting, meet. And then when you're doing it like to someone, meet. And then you. And so earlier when I was saying like my versus I, so like my name or I, you're going to say you, and that wouldn't be your. I know that's a lot of information. Sorry. So, nice to meet you. So then if you want to put it all together, you can say my name, spell out your name. Nice to meet you. So now you know a whole big phrase in sign language.
Yeah. And like we said earlier, like if this feels overwhelming, it's totally okay. You
Yeah,
do
it's
not
kind
have
of
to
a
walk
lot.
out of here and know that.
No, you totally
but it
don't.
like allows you to recognize it more.
And that's
If-
why I
if
wanted
you-
to pick some pages with pictures too, because I know these are in black and white, so it might be a little bit harder to see exactly what she's doing because it's not in color.
But we have videos too.
Yes, we did make videos and they're not uploaded yet.
They will be.
But we're working on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah, you can watch this on Facebook. Woohoo. Or YouTube. Yeah.
Anyways, there's that. Does anybody have questions about those? Okay. So let's go on to the next one. So if you'll look at these, you'll see like the order of the sentence structure is ASL, I learn. So cool thing about sign language, it's a completely different sentence structure than like English is. So I like to explain this as like the way that Yoda talks. You know, it really is. So, you know, you don't really use like your little filler words because she's not saying ASL, I am learning. She says ASL, I learn. And then like in English, it's I am learning ASL. So don't necessarily worry about that right now because I'm still figuring that out myself. It's really complicated to like switch that over in your brain. But anyways, that's why it's kind of like set up like that. But anyway, we'll work on this next. So ASL, there is a few different ways to like sign the word, sign ASL. So you can say ASL like spelled out, so A-S-L. Or this is the sign for sign. So if you've got your dominant hand is going to be going towards you. So sign and sign. This is also sign. I don't use that one as much. I personally like this one. Or you can say ASL. So there's some of those to pick from. And then like we talked about a second ago, I. And then learn. A lot of signs, if you think about them, they make sense. Like, just the way they are makes sense. You know? I don't know how to explain it. Okay. So.
No, it does. Well, it's like
So-
symbolizes what you're trying to
Yes, it symbolizes what you're trying to say. Those are good words. I couldn't think of good words. So learn, you're going to have your non-dominant hand down here at the bottom, kind of like right here. And then you're taking the information, pulling it up, and putting it into your head. This is learn. Does that make sense to everybody? Learn. So you're putting it under your head. Okay, so if you walk up to a deaf person, you've introduced yourself, nice to meet you, y'all are talking. They might be under the impression that you know more than you know, but you freak out and you're like, whoa, I need you to slow down. Because that's happened to me multiple times. So then you'll say, sign, I'm learning. And they'll be like, oh, okay, you're new at this. Let me slow down. So that's really helpful to know.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's how you do that.
Instead of being freaked out, be
Yes.
like, wow. Slow.
Okay, so this is going to be the last page. It is. Oh, cool. We've got 10 minutes. So these are some other cool ones that I thought it would be good to learn, and then we'll talk about what Grayson uses at the very bottom. There's so many things I could teach you guys, but I was trying to pick what might be most valuable just to start off with. And then if anybody's got any questions at the very end, like, hey, I really want to know what this means, like, can you please teach me right now? I'll let y'all ask questions, and I'd be happy to answer if I know it.
We could also do a part 2.
We
Like,
could do a part
whatever
2.
y'all want. So I might just be here for moral support. This is all Baily show. But
So at the very top, we'll who, what, when, where, and why. You may or may not use this. I don't know, but I think it's good to know. So we'll start with who. So who, you're going to like make an L. You're going to take the thumb and put it on your chin, and then you're going to go like this. This is who. Who. And then you can kind of like say it like. So that's who. What is what? What?
I'd be saying that a lot. Be like, what are you
What?
saying?
What?
Yeah, what? Yeah, it is. It's a lot.
Yeah,
like that.
exactly. So another cool thing about sign language, I don't remember like what the percentages are. I learned this in class at one point a really long time ago. But obviously signs are really important, but your face and your body language is like so extremely important. So when you're asking a question or you're confused or you're excited or like whatever, like show it on your face, because like that's the difference between me going or me going.
Or
If that
doing
helps.
like, hold on, I can't hold this. Doing like, what? Or like, what? Like, you know, that's
Yeah.
like two different completely.
Because you could just be like, and they're like,
Or
okay.
like, what? I don't understand.
But
Or
if
being
you're like squinting your eyebrows and like making that face, like it just, that's like a huge part of the language too.
Yeah. Or if you've heard like drama, you'd be like, what? Like that's
Yeah,
that's different.
exactly. It
But you
depends on the
wouldn't say it.
context.
Yeah, you wouldn't say it though.
So who, what, when, you're going to take your non-dominant hand and kind of like close it. Can y'all see that? And then you're going to make a big circle around with your index finger. So
Backwards.
out.
Outwards.
Yes, out. And then to remember that one, I think of like a clock, like when, and you're like making a big clock, I guess. When.
You know what an analog clock is, and that's very helpful.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So when, where is your index finger, and you're just gonna shake it, and then like where.
Where?
What's no?
No.
Yeah.
Like saying like no.
No. I'm telling you
No.
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 What is yes?
Yes.
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 No.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And then I'll kind of tell y'all my little like weird tips that I came up with to like understand these myself. Sometimes with signs, so many of them are so similar, you kind of have to just like come up with little things that like make sense to you to understand them, to like differentiate them from each other. And then our last one is why. So you're going to have your dominant hand, like we talked about, at the top of your head, and you're going to take your middle finger and like put it on the tip of your head and then like bring it out and like pull your middle finger out. Does that make sense? Like why? Why? Okay, so I guess like a few that I have used to like remember is like when, like the clock. Where, I would always think of like if your mom's angry and she's like, where have you been?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just what I thought of to help me remember. And then why?
Like you're wanting to know.
Yeah, like it's kind of
Like
like coming
why?
out of your head. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what just kind of made sense to me. And then who, I would always like make that like picture with my mouth, I guess. Anyway, I don't know. Okay, moving on. Does anybody have questions about those? Okay. What? What?
What was where again? I forgot.
Where?
Where? Okay. I knew it was like.
And these took me like a hot minute to like remember because they're similar and there's several of them. Anyways, okay, so now we're going to talk about some that are helpful for church, just because for fun, why not? So church, you're going to, I think I taught these actually at Christmas. I don't know if anybody remembers this.
Well,
A
and
few
these
of them
are
I did.
also good, like if you are talking to someone who is deaf or uses sign language in any way, and you are wanting to invite them to church or you want to talk to them about these things further, now you can like maybe have a couple, you don't even have to know all
You
of
can at
these.
least get your, like the context of what you're talking
Yeah.
about out, like, hey, I'm talking about church.
Yes, or like, do you want to come to church?
Yeah.
You know, or, you know, we have music and we
Yes.
pray, like those things.
So church is, you've got your non-dominant hand down here. You're going to make a C, and you're going to bounce it. Church. And then there's also another fun one that I love. If you mix it, that is chocolate. Like you're stirring the chocolate in your coffee. So this is church, this is chocolate. Two things we love, church and chocolate.
Doesn't matter how many times you bounce the seat on top of your hand. Is it one time good enough? You want to do it 2 or 3 times?
I think I do it twice. Church. Yeah. Bible. So let's do Jesus before we do Bible because Jesus is incorporated in the sign for Bible. So Jesus, like Jesus having the nails in his hands, you're going to go like this.
Do you do dominant?
So you'll do, yes, you're going to do dominant hand first, and then you'll have like your middle fingers touching the middle of your hands. Does that make sense? Yes. Everybody? Okay. And then Bible is going to be Jesus book. So this is book. Pretty self-explanatory. So Jesus book. God is going to be coming from up here. And you're going to take, I'm trying to remember if it's like this. Anyways, doesn't matter. You're going to come from up here and then come down in front of your face. Kind of like in a, like, does that make sense? Kind of like coming out a little bit and down.
Not a straight line.
Yeah.
Like coming down, yeah. So, and then pray. Pray.
Pray.
Pretty explanatory. Music is a fun one that I like. So you're going to take your non-dominant arm out like this. And then you're going to go like, where do you see that? It's the music. Yes. Like a conductor, yeah. This is music. And then last one for this. Can anybody guess what love is? Yes. Yes.
Answer.
Love. But you're going to have your hands like closed. Yeah. Love. Okay. So that's what I have for that. And then finally, we're going to talk about the signs that Grayson uses. There is one particular that we'll get there when we get there that he uses, and that is a Grayson original.
Well,
And I'll explain why. I learned this recently. Okay, so home, you're going to take your dominant hand. You don't need your other hand for this one. And like close it like this. And you're going to start down here by your mouth. And then you're going to go up right under your ear. So, home.
Yep.
Home.
Would he want to come up here?
Grayson, would you like to come up here?
Do you want to come?
Do you wanna
do
come
this
help?
with us? Oh, you want to go home? I'm sorry. That's what you. Okay, that's fine. I understand.
Okay.
Okay, it's fine.
Okay, cook. So you'll have your non-dominant hand flat out like this. And then your dominant hand, you're going to start down. And then, so it's like you're like flipping. Like pancake. So that's cook. I usually do it twice, like on both sides. 1, 2. Let's cook. More. That same motion we were talking about a second ago. I guess I could call that like a flat O. I don't know. More.
It's like Muppets.
I do it like twice. More. Eat is eat.
He did it like just.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Work is you've got two fists right here, and then your dominant hand's gonna go on top, and you're gonna like kind of put your wrists together. Work. Like you're gonna like tap the bottom of your dominant hand wrist on the dominant hand of the top one. So work. And then, hey Grayson, how do you do bike? Bike. I feel like that's like top 3 favorites, probably.
He'll tell you that he
Bike.
wants to go home and ride his bike. And we'll say, and most of the time I'm like, church is not over. We cannot do that. So
Bike. And then vacuum. In sign, this is vacuum, or I've seen this. Typically there's going to be a few different ways to do like a lot of the words, but I learned this or this. Grayson likes to use this, and I've been told that this is because they have a bottom floor and a top floor in the house, and there is a vacuum on each floor, correct? Yes. So I don't know which one is which. Is this first floor? Only Grayson knows. But if he's telling you this, that means he's vacuumed today.
And a lot of times he'll say, I've vacuumed here and here, so he vacuumed the first floor and the second floor.
Yes.
But he loves to vacuum, so
yeah, he does.
Maybe, we should hire him.
And then earlier when we learned the sign for nice, this is clean, same thing. So if Grayson's told you that he's vacuumed the house, you can say, is it clean? He'll say, yeah. So, and then baseball. You're holding you like do it like twice, I guess. Baseball. Hamburger is like kind of like the buns going on the hamburger. Can everybody see that okay? So you with cook. Oh yeah, this is cook, this is hamburger. So your cook, you're gonna have one hand flat the whole time, but hamburger, both hands are gonna be like going over each other. Hot dog. Oh, okay. Hot dog is hot dog. Hot dog.
You want to eat your pizza?
And Grayson's telling us that he wants pizza, and that is pizza. There's actually a lot of different ways to do pizza. That's one of those, like, there's a handful of signs that are like based on where you live. Yeah, there's more than one way to do it. So like he's using this, you can use it like this, you can use it like this, you can spell out pizza. Pizza's got a double Z in it, so some people do that. It kind of depends on where you live. I don't really know why. It's just like it's like having an accent. You know, like some people say things differently based on where they live. That's kind of how like the signs are sometimes.
But don't let that overwhelm you, because we're
just
talking
pick
about
one.
these.
This is pizza.
Yeah, and you don't even have to necessarily use the sign when communicating with Grayson, as long as if he walks up and says this, then you know
exactly
he
what
wants
he's
pizza.
talking about.
And you can be like, well, we've got pizza, or sorry, we don't.
Yes.
So.
And then we've got 2 more. So French fry. Everybody remember F? So you're going to go down with it. French fry. French fry. And then drink is literally just drink.
What's
drink?
Slow.
Yeah, so if you want someone to like slow down on their signing, say slow. Oh, I forgot to put that on
Soda
there.
pop.
Soda pop. So if you've got like a fist on this hand, you're going to take like your middle finger and like put it in there and then pop it.
Soda pop.
Soda pop.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all I've got today. I know that was a lot. Does anybody have like any questions about anything we talked about, or like a sign that you want to know?
Yeah, you said like with the vacuum thing and clean. This means clean, and then it also means nice.
Yes.
So you can tell if like someone who sign language, if they're talking, I did a nice job vacuuming, or I cleaned the vacuum. How do you differentiate?
So great question. Think about the context. Yes. And the weird thing, I'm going to try to explain this. I don't really know if I can make it make sense. So interpreting, like, there's so many, like, what are like two words that mean the same thing, but they're two completely different words
Like dear and dear, or
that mean the same thing? Like two different words that mean the same thing.
Weird and
Yes.
bizarre, yes.
So like that might be the same sign, but like if you are like interpreting for someone and you hear that, like you've almost got to like think really quick, like, okay, that's the same sign. Does that make sense?
Well, and thinking about like what the overall message is like the big part of signing, and that's why it's so different than like
Yes.
English spoken language, and why it's a completely different language is because we use a lot of different words to say the same exact thing.
Yes.
Like I could say one thing that means the exact same thing as Baily says it, and we could say it using completely different words. And so saying like, I can't remember your example, but you said nice and clean, and then like I vacuumed and it's clean or something like that. It's essentially the same message.
It's essentially, yeah, like you're saying it's nice.
Yeah.
You know, does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's really hard to explain.
Yeah. But that's where body language comes in
Yes,
too.
body language, context, like also like if you're an interpreter and you are like voicing for a deaf person that is like very, very knowledgeable about a subject. Like say you're like interpreting for like a doctor or something. Like you're gonna want to, like if they use one sign, you're gonna like want to bump it up to like the highest level of like vocab as you can, because like they're really smart and they know what they're talking about. So like you're gonna want to use that higher registered vocabulary. Does that make sense? So anyway, but any other questions? If you don't know the sign, spell it, and you can ask, yeah. Okay, well, that's all I've got. I hope y'all enjoyed it.
I've got one more.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you put those websites on something for us so that we can?
Yeah.
Yes.
What we can do, I think what we can do, so once I get these videos uploaded to the Google Drive, like I said, I'm going to send that link, and then I'll send in that same message for Austin to send out, like links to the App Store for those apps. Would that be helpful?
Yes.
Okay. I was just making sure that I was understanding. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're going to give him links, and he'll put them in the comments on YouTube.
And y'all are totally more than welcome, like if there's something you're wanting to know or like a few words you come up with that you're like, hey, I wonder what this is. You can write it down or whatever and ask me. And I may or may not know, depending on how complicated the word is. But I can try. Or you can use those dictionaries because they're extremely helpful and I use them all the time. So, yeah.
Anything
Okay.
else? Well, cool.
That's all I've got. Oh, yeah, this is thank you. I didn't say that. Thank you.
you. Thanks for listening. That's
Okay.
all we got. Thank
That's
you.
all I've got. Thanks, guys.